The following program is sponsored by Seattle Children's Hospital.
People say that Rinny is lucky. Her journey was a culmination of the entire team bringing their A game to work every single day.
Seattle Children's Hospital is a pillar of the community, and every day, generous donors help bring hope, care, and cures to every child.
Just being in that facility, you just feel this family kind of setting. It can't be expressed enough how amazing they are.
Welcome to Miracle Makers. And now your hosts, Steve Poole and Shannon O'Donnell.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Poole, and on behalf of KOMO Television and Seattle Children's Hospital, welcome to Miracle Makers, KOMO's annual spring telethon benefiting the uncompensated care program at Seattle Children's Hospital. For the next 2 hours, we're going to showcase amazing stories that celebrate the life-saving work being done at Seattle's Children's every single day.
That's right, and I'm Shannon O'Donnell. Seattle Children's mission is to provide hope, care, and cures to help every child live the healthiest and most fulfilling life possible. Part of what makes Miracle Makers so very special is that we'll get to see different parts of that mission exemplified by those featured in the stories you'll see tonight, including doctors, volunteers, researchers, and of course, patients and their families.
To help us continue Seattle Children's mission, we're joined by a studio full of volunteers ready to answer your phone calls. You can donate at any time tonight by calling the numbers on your screen. It can't be stated enough. Uncompensated care program at Seattle Children's provides vital medical care for the children in our community. That care can be something as simple as the common cold, or something more complex, like in some of the areas, some of the things that we're going to find out here in just a little minute. So let's begin with the story of a perfect little girl. Let's hear about Rinny.
My name is Andrea Olson.
And my name's Eric Olson.
What does it mean for me to be a mom? Well, it's the hardest job in the world and the greatest job in the world. I wouldn't trade it for anything. We chose to adopt. Honestly, it was something that I had always wanted to do, and we knew that we could offer love and the permanency of a family to any child. So when our firstborn daughter, Sophia, was about 5 years old, we applied for our first adoption. We chose to adopt medically complex children. Actually, it was more of an evolution. After we brought home our first adopted daughter from China who did not have any medical needs, the program had changed. It had shifted to a medical needs program.
I got 2 of them! I got 2! So nice! Where's the clown?
Rinny was unique. We didn't necessarily see that coming. We systematically developed a skill set, but we weren't anticipating Rinny's condition to be so advanced.
Rinny is our 6th child, 5th adopted child. Her process went very quickly. It was an expedited adoption. So from the moment we decided to adopt her to the moment we were on the plane to China, it was only 3.5 months. But it wasn't until about 2 weeks prior to our anticipated travel date that we learned that she had been in and out of the hospital in the ICU in China for the last 1 to 2 months in heart failure, liver failure, pneumonia. However, it wasn't until we brought her home that we understood that she was not only at end-stage heart failure but inoperable. Seattle Children's said that they had a bed open and that they would consent to evaluating her for transplant. Then on October 23rd, which was the day the transplant committee was going to meet to decide whether to list her to be put on the national transplant waiting list for a heart, she went into full respiratory failure and was on the precipice of cardiac arrest and was intubated and put on the ventilator. And then it was that evening that the committee met and we were notified that Seattle Children's had decided, despite the fact that Rinny was considered an extremely high-risk transplant candidate, they had made the decision to list her. And at that time, the national average wait for a heart at 1A was 3 to 5 months. The wait for Rinny was 19 days, and that is because Seattle Children's, they went out on a limb and accepted a heart for her that otherwise they may not have accepted. It was November 12th, 2013, when we learned that there was a donor heart available for Rennie. Dr. Mike McMullen, the transplant surgeon, came into the room, and I was sitting next to Rennie's bed, and he said, "There's a heart available for Rennie." My first feeling was I was in shock, and when your child's life depends on transplant, your child's life is depending on someone else's child dying. That was a very, very, very emotionally complex place to be. It didn't feel right to completely celebrate. It didn't feel right to completely grieve. It's not being dramatic to say that if that family on that day had not made that choice, our daughter would not be here with us. Is the point of adopting a medical needs child to find the right child for your family? Or should it be more about becoming the right family for a child? That is a lot how Seattle Children's views their patients. They took a chance on a very, very sick child that other transplant centers had turned away.
People say that Rennie is lucky. There are so many people on the team that have dedicated their lives, you know, that have put all their heart and soul into not just Rennie, but all the kids. You're part of her care team, which is unique in our experiences. Their dedication at such an elite level, it makes me feel like maybe it wasn't so much luck. Her journey to becoming healthy was the culmination of the entire team bringing their A game to work every single day.
Is that Dada?
It is so important to support Seattle Children's Hospital. So many families, these illnesses hit them out of nowhere. You know, to have such a fantastic institution right there in Seattle for kids is such a blessing for the community. We come from, 4 hours away every time our kids have a cardiac appointment. We drive up from Oregon to Seattle Children's for a reason. If I had one thing to say to Rennie's team at the Seattle Children's is thank you so much for taking a chance on hope.
Thank you, Seattle Children's.
Oh, isn't that a great story?
It's amazing.
I
So
tell you
impressive.
What. Well, folks, we're going to have an amazing night tonight. We're so excited that you're here watching all of this. And you'll hear some personal stories both on my part and for Shan's as well, because we both have experience at Children's Hospital. We'll be telling you about that a little bit later on. But now we have to get started and get the phones ringing.
That's right.
And that means it's time for a miracle match, my friends. And this is where you get the opportunity, those of you watching at home, to turbocharge your money, right? Because we're going to have a nice match for... I love that.
Already ringing.
Right off the bat. Great. All right. It is time for our first miracle match. For the next 3 minutes, your contribution will be doubled. In this case, every donation will be matched by the John L. Scott Foundation up to, get this, $15,000. All right, you ready? Let's start the clock right now. Here we go.
2 minutes
I'm
and
waiting.
counting.
Oh, there we go.
We're hearing them all ring.
Now we're going here.
Get it going. It's so
Absolutely.
awesome. We have had to use children. You
Yes.
you never know when it's going to happen.
never know.
It could be a Saturday morning soccer game. Somebody, bumps their head. You have to go get a concussion check. It could be a Wednesday night where somebody's got their fever burning up and you've got to run to Children's. We both had to go before.
I know, and I have a daughter here tonight who's now volunteering, and she had to have a procedure at Children's Hospital when she's just a little baby, and believe me, she's healthy and she's got quite a set of lungs there. So
So she did. She did good.
You do.
Takes
You
after
do.
her father.
You know you do.
They are such a pillar of our community. We're so lucky they're right in our backyard. People come from miles around, from all across the Northwest to come here and visit this amazing world-class facility right here in Seattle.
And I think the other thing to point out is that this is one of these situations where the money goes, you know, folks often ask about that when you're doing charitable things. That money stays right here in the Northwest. And we're not just talking about the Seattle area. We're talking about the entire state of Washington and the states that adjoin Washington.
That's right. Idaho.
So Idaho, Alaska,
Oregon.
all of these areas, you know, and so you have this opportunity with a place like this to be able to take your kid and get absolute perfect coverage.
That's right.
You know,
and nobody is turned away.
Nobody's turned away.
They take care of you. You go in there, you are treated like family right from the get-go.
That's right.
Boy, they know how to take care of kids, and they make it comfortable. They make it fun. It's not a normal hospital. It's an environment for children. And their toys, fun things, they just make them happy and make them feel at home.
Definitely. So keep the calls coming, my friends. This is looking like we're off to a pretty good start, Shan. I think it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, we're hearing lots of ringing going on back there. And again, this is sponsored by John L. Scott, matching your calls all the way up to $15,000. Fabulous.
All right, keep it going, folks. We've got 38 seconds left, so you folks at home, now's the time to go to your phone. And remember, your money is doubled by the great folks at John L. Scott. Absolutely perfect. "20 seconds to go. Here we go, everybody. Keep those phone calls coming. All right, we're almost there.
There you see the numbers on the bottom of your screen, 206-443-2468.
All right, we're almost out of time. 3, 2, 1. That's it. But guess what? There will be more miracle matches. So call your friends and relatives and say, hey, you got to get on there and watch what's happening on KOMO right now, because we're doing a great thing for a great institution. Now, you folks, you're from John L. Scott?
No.
Oh, you're not from John L. Scott.
Children's Hospital.
You're volunteers. Oh, terrific. Okay, so I got to ask you, you have a lot of places that you could put your charitable time and charitable dollars. Why do you do it here?
It's just a wonderful place. And we've been volunteering together for many, many years, and just love it.
And you get a whole lot more than you give.
Don't you think?
Yeah. People say, oh, it's so great that you're doing that, but we're the ones that get the love.
That's so cool. Now, how long have you been doing it? And I assume you want to keep doing it for as long as possible.
34 years.
You are kidding. 34 years. 34, 35, and I should ask you, sir, how about you?
About 5.
About 5 years. Okay, you got a little time to catch up to them.
They're teaching me the ropes.
Oh, I bet they are. But, and you being there, you've seen what they do. Yeah. So it is just a magnificent thing. Awesome. Yeah, very, very cool. Great. All right. Back to Shannon.
Hey, thank you so much, Steve. Corporate partners throughout our community also play an important role in Seattle Children's efforts to treat and eliminate pediatric disease, and Costco Wholesale raises the bar every single year.
Hi, I'm Stacy Jimenez, warehouse manager at the Issaquah Costco Wholesale. Since 1988, Costco has co-sponsored the Children's Miracle Network Telethon, now called Miracle Makers. Costco fundraising activities in support of our Children's Miracle Network Hospitals campaign are fun and diverse, but our primary focus is always on the sale of miracle balloons. Thanks to the generosity of our members, I am proud to say our Issaquah warehouse was one of the top Costco fundraising locations in the nation last year, and we plan to be on that list again this year. Costco Wholesale raises funds for 113 Children's Miracle Network hospitals throughout the United States and Canada during the month of May. I know I speak for all Costco employees when I say we are proud to support our local Children's Miracle Network hospital.
We appreciate the support of the wonderful corporate partners like Costco Wholesale. Without that support, we wouldn't have one of the finest children's hospitals in the country.
Seattle Children's Hospital thanks the following sponsors who have helped to make Miracle Makers possible: Ace Hardware, Auction of Washington Wines, Chevron, and Chico's. You're watching the Miracle Makers to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital here on KOMO 4 Seattle.
We thank all of our corporate sponsors for their support over the years. If you'd like to pledge your support for the life-saving work being done here right at Children's Hospital, why not become a Miracle Maker? By committing a $20 a month charge on your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or your Discover card, you'll be automatically charged every month. No need to renew. For less than $1 a day, you can help a family at a time when they need it the most. I hope you'll make that call tonight. And we'd like to believe we'd do anything for our children, and I know we all do. One local mom told her son the same thing, so when he needed a kidney transplant, she didn't hesitate to offer one of her own. Let's see how a new program at Seattle Children's is helping transplant patients receive faster access to the treatment they need. Sponsored by Dairy Queen, this is Nigel Dalton's story.
I feel that a mother's role is, in my situation, I'm a caregiver, I'm an overseer, I am a protector. It was always about what can I do for them, because when they're good, healthy, and happy, I'm good, healthy, and happy. I found out at 20 weeks that Nigel had a block in his ureters. They're called posterior urethral valves. That was the actual diagnosis. They told us with that diagnosis that the prognosis was ultimately, at some point in time, a kidney transplant. That was the only cure for this.
My childhood was completely normal. I didn't have a great knowledge of what was happening to me. My mom did a great job at just handling it all on her own. So as far as I knew, I was just like everyone else that I was talking to and that I was playing with.
Only once we connected with Seattle Children's did we find out, once they did some testing, that things had progressed more so than we had ever anticipated. We didn't know. So just from the initial meeting and testing that they did, they noted just a huge drastic change in his numbers. Once I found out that I wasn't a match, I asked about what were the other options. We're at a point where we knew that he was going to be needing dialysis. We didn't want this to be a long-term thing. We actually didn't want dialysis at all. With that delay, with knowing that I wasn't a match, we found out about the donor exchange program. The donor exchange program is a program that is specific to recipients and donors who exchange organs nationally, on a nationwide basis. I got a call from the hospital indicating that they were in the preliminary phases. They found a donor that was a match, and they found also a donor that I was a match for as well.
I feel amazing. I feel a lot better than I did before. I was the first recipient of the donor exchange program at Seattle Children's. As a recipient, it is important to donate because people need more than one. It's not a one and done thing. People are always going to need help.
If there's one thing I could say to the doctors and to the staff at Seattle Children's, words just don't seem to be enough to express. I've given them gifts. Every time I see them, I embrace them because I think they've done just such an amazing job. Just being in that facility, you just feel this family kind of setting. It can't be expressed enough how amazing they are.
I am more thankful for my mom than words can express. I can't say thank you enough, not just for this, but just for anything and everything that will happen and everything that has happened.
it's just so inspirational to see all that Costco here, such a big local corporate sponsor, how much they do for Children's Hospital. And a family here with a personal and a corporate connection to Costco and to Children's Hospital joining me tonight. This is the Hegstrom family. Can you tell me your names?
My name is Ed.
Jennifer. Olivia. Elijah.
Elijah, hello. I'm so glad you guys could join us. And I hear, Elijah, that you've had to go to Children's Hospital for some serious business. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Do you remember? Maybe I'll have your mama tell me, okay? So you guys have a personal connection, as so many families here do locally with Seattle Children's. And can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So he was diagnosed with a rare childhood cancer called hepatoblastoma, and we spent approximately 9 to 10 months more inpatient days than outpatient, so many, many nights in the hospital.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. And how old was Elijah when that happened?
He was 6.
You were 6, so not too long ago. You've just been through all this. How was your time at Children's? Did they treat you nicely there? They're pretty good people, aren't they? Did you have fun? Yeah, you had a nice time there. They do take care of you, and they've got so much. It's not like a normal hospital, right? It's a kids' hospital where they have toys and all the beautiful colors and the fun things to do. And the people coming through, did you meet any special guests coming through Children's that came to visit you? Can you tell me anybody you met?
I forgot her name, but actually she was really little, and she
Maya.
It was Maya. Okay, Maya came through. I know they have a lot of special people come through Children's and try to cheer you up when you're going through a really tough time. Now, tell me a little bit about why you've had this personal connection with Children's, but why is it so important that Costco is so involved here with supporting Children's Hospital?
Well, Costco always does the right thing. It's always the right time to do the right thing. And part of our mission statement is to take care of our members, to take care of our employees, and obviously children are a huge part of that. And Seattle Children's Hospital does so much for our community, for families, and it's an integral part of what our company does.
That's right. That's amazing. That is just a testament to all they do. And I hear that you have something to tell me about the big Miracle Match balloon count. Olivia, can you tell me about how much was raised? I know it's a surprise you're telling us tonight.
About 1.3 million.
What? Oh, my goodness. Wonderful. That is so fabulous. That is wonderful news. It is wonderful news. That's crazy. Well, it's time for another Miracle Match. And for the next 3 minutes, every donation will be doubled up to $15,000. Another corporate sponsor, thanks to Marriott. Let's start the clock.
All right, here we go, everybody. It's a chance to turbocharge our money, no doubt about it. Here we go. Another Miracle Match. We'll get those phones ringing. Oh. This is so great. You know, and Marriott has been such a great supporter for so many years. And as many of you know, I can't remember how many years I've been doing this for Children's Hospital. But Marriott has always been standing there and waiting to help. They are just marvelous people. And we should point out that about 45% of the donations made to Seattle Children's are used for research. And that's research.
They
and that's
do
a very big
crazy things over there.
You know, if you ever get a chance to go over to Children's Hospital without, having a sick child, you should do it. It is just an amazing place. It's not like a hospital.
No.
With the way they paint the walls, the way they put everything in the kids' rooms.
It's so light and airy and fun and bright.
It's just, it's healing just being there.
It absolutely
without
is.
even having anything else happen. Just that is enough to help kids to get better quickly.
That's right. And with the Uncompensated Care Fund, we have all of the research that's being done. Gene editing. We have to edit our forecast once in a while. We've got nothing on what they're doing at Children's Hospital.
We can't even see a gene, let alone
edit it.
Edit it.
It's bananas
so
what they do.
Don't you think?
I can't even fathom the work that's being done there. It is just amazing. It's
really
miraculous.
Is.
And what we're doing here is called the Miracle Match. You hear all the phones ringing. I see everybody on the phones, but don't worry if you see that you're not getting through. We have lots of time tonight to take your calls. A lot of people, even off camera, still taking the calls. And remember, the number locally is 206-443-2468.
Oh, I love it.
And if you're outside of the Seattle area, there is a 1-800 number. That is 1-800-443-2468.
Ah, yes. Keep them coming, my friends. We've got a little less than a minute to go. So get on the phone and call us right now. And by the way, it's okay if you call twice. I'm just pointing that out.
Call.
I'm just saying.
3 times.
You know, because you might do it in about an hour, and then you can get on and do it about an hour later. It's kind of fun because you get to talk to these people.
And they're all here volunteering their time.
Nice
I see a lot of
people.
familiar faces
You know,
here as well.
They're good people.
They'd love to talk to you. They'd love to take your donation, and we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely, yeah, boy. And so, all of these people have spent a lot of their time down here, and most of them have volunteered for years, as we've just seen. It's really spectacular what they're able to do.
It's a yearly event on their behalf as well.
Yep.
And, you know, again, such a huge institution here locally. We're so lucky that it's right in our backyard. People come from miles around from other parts of the country to experience this very special care that they can receive here at Seattle Children's Hospital.
So make sure you go. I don't know where we are in the clock. I think are we? All right. I think we're all done with this one.
All wrapped with that one. There are plenty more to come.
More to come.
That's right. 45% of donations made to Seattle Children's are used for research. We were talking about that.
Good thing.
And that's a good thing, yes, because right now researchers at Seattle Children's are making enormous breakthroughs in the fields of immunotherapy and, again, that gene editing we were talking about.
Yeah.
You know, again, we've read at the forecast. That's amazing. Because of these advances, we are seeing complete remission of certain childhood cancers. And for one little girl who traveled thousands of miles to be treated at Seattle Children's, those breakthroughs made all the difference.
Absolutely.
Sponsored by Safeway and Albertsons, this is Erin Cross's story.
If they gave out prizes for traveling the farthest for cancer treatment, 6-year-old Erin Cross might just be in the running. Erin and her parents came to Seattle Children's all the way from Chester, England. The prize they're seeking is the chance to save Erin's life.
Me and I fell off again.
Try to get higher.
That was quite funny.
At age 2, Erin was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. 2.5 years of chemotherapy, and it looked like this might be behind them.
And then Erin blossomed into a beautiful, healthy girl at school and was doing really well. She was getting awards from the head teacher, making loads of friends, and just generally getting back to normal, having a normal life. And then unfortunately, 11 months off treatment, we just went for a normal clinic appointment and had a blood test, and then got a phone call that night that there was something abnormal in her blood. And over the next couple of weeks, we got to find out that she'd relapsed. Treatment was going well at the start, the relapse treatment in the UK, and by week 5 of the therapy, they sort of realised that she wasn't responding to chemotherapy as well as she should.
Erin's cancer was back, again, and this smiling, bubbly little girl seemed out of options. But Erin's mom had heard about a clinical trial at Seattle Children's in which T cells were taken from a child's blood, reprogrammed to destroy cancer cells, and then infused back into the child. In the first phase of a clinical trial, 93% of the children with relapsed leukemia achieved complete remission. Erin's situation made her a good fit for the second phase of the trial.
Can I be gentle?
Perfect. So here she is at Seattle Children's, preparing for what her family hopes will work as well for her as it has for the other children in the clinical trial.
Just some monkeys. Is that weird?
Monkeys.
Is that surprising that there's monkeys in your ears?
Never had monkeys before.
Scientists at the Bentown Center for Pediatric Cancer Research use Erin's blood to extract T cells, the white blood cells that fight infection. These T cells are reprogrammed, if you will, to recognize cancer as an enemy in Erin's body. Over several weeks, workers in the lab will build an army of Erin's cells that will go back into her body with orders to kill the cancer that chemotherapy couldn't.
The T cells have been growing in the lab and doing what they should and expanding, and they've passed all the testing that's done, so it's just, you know, we've gone through a lot of stages to get where we are, and everything's just gone right each time. It's just fantastic, really.
As Erin's T cells are getting prepared in the lab, Erin has quite a fan club, not just rooting for her, but supporting her and her family.
A lot was raised on Twitter. A lot of celebrities got involved, so Boy George and Lord Sugar. Just things like cake sales and fun days and Zumbathons, and all the schools got involved in Chester, so teachers were getting dunked in ice baths and all sorts of things like that, so which would have been great to see. So yeah, just some real good fundraisers.
The support from back home and across the world has been amazing.
Erin spent her 6th birthday in Seattle at the Ronald McDonald House. She received some 200 cards from well-wishers who believe Erin will see many, many more birthdays. It seems all the world is watching, hoping that this cutting-edge treatment works for Erin Cross. A few days after her birthday, Erin's T-cells are finally ready.
It's everything. It means we're getting our little girl back.
The team from the lab arrives in her room and prepares the product for infusion. The infusion itself takes just minutes. The next few weeks will tell if this immunotherapy can save Erin's life. The next several days were tough on Erin. She developed a fever, which is a positive sign that the reprogrammed T-cells are doing their job and attacking the cancer cells. But the fever got so high, Erin began having seizures.
I mean, for me, it's the most scared I've been in my life. I thought we were going to lose Erin.
And it felt to us like within seconds that team of about 8 or 9 doctors were around the bed, like working on her to stop the seizure and save her life, because obviously she stopped breathing because the seizure was so bad.
That one is...
But Erin pulled through, and the immunotherapy treatment worked. Erin is in remission and feeling good. This little girl who was out of options now has no sign of cancer.
So are these all going to go into a suitcase?
It's been a very long journey for this family, one that brought them all the way from the UK. They prepare to return home to England, where Erin will get a bone marrow transplant to hopefully seal the deal and keep the leukemia from having any way of coming back. This family can now dare to see a future beyond cancer.
I think Erin's just happy doing normal kid stuff. So what are your teeth like at the moment? She's got a little wobbly one at the front of the top and one at the bottom.
They can dream of a long and healthy life for Erin.
I think she's going to change the world. I really do. For me, she could do anything that she wants to do. She's a real character, and she changes people. You know, people fall in love with her. She has a real big impact. So, I don't know, I could see her taking that forward into, her adult life and making a big difference.
You know, Erin's story is so inspiring, and your donations are so crucial to helping children like her. It's time for another Miracle Match, where we will, for the next 3 minutes, double your money. Your donations will be doubled by John L. Scott Foundation up to, get this, $15,000. Wow. Here we go. Just call the numbers at the bottom of your screen. Our volunteers are here. They're ready. I'm waiting. We hear those phones start to go here in just a minute. This is a time for you to be able to really kind of turbocharge your money. You know, your 25 is worth 50, and we love that. And your 100, well, let's just say 500 go to 1,000. I like that better.
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely.
Do what you can.
Do what you can. Anything that you can do, because it all adds up and it all makes a big difference for these kids.
It sure does. You know, a little bit goes a long way. They have so much in terms of the resources there to help kids in need. And whether it's just, a sprained ankle or, heaven forbid, something much more dire, you never know when you are going to need Children's Hospital. Yeah. If you haven't had to go over to Children's, that beautiful campus there in Northeast Seattle, chances are you know someone who has.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
You know, they can do another thing over there. I was thinking about things that have been done with my kids, and my other daughter has been taken there. But they have this resource line. And it's nothing like in the middle of the night, something happens, or there's a fever or something, and you just quite don't know. Should I bring them in? Should I not? I don't know.
And if you start to Google, then you get scared,
Then you got
right?
really scared. You know, don't Google it.
Don't.
Whatever
It just frightens you.
Everything in Google is the horrible and the miserable. Don't do it. But the point is here is that you can get good information that can help you to make a good decision.
That's right. And they talk you off, the ledge, or tell you if it is serious and you need to come in. They're very straightforward with you, and they have so much help after hours, all night. We've been there in the ER 1, 2 o'clock in the morning with something that was, again, I had looked online and scared myself quite a bit, and so showed up at Children's, and they were able to help us and get us all back to good. So that was for sure. But boy, that resource line, also, of course, the clinic, which, if your own pediatrician is closed, the weekend hours or the after hours, it is so helpful. They are just full of help there at Children's Hospital.
Yeah. And I was trying to think of how many years I've been involved with children, and I think it's around 35. Something like that.
Well, you've been here for a long time.
But you know what? I've never lost my passion for it.
No, you haven't.
No, because I know what happens. And one of the cool things about it is that I see kids that grow up and, they were on the telethon, and they come up to me and they go, "Hey, Steve, I'm a captain in the Marine Corps now." And you're like, "Wow, look at you."
Look at that little guy all grown up. Absolutely.
And you kind of feel like I had kind of a part of that.
Yes, and you've known them since that point. That's for sure.
It makes a huge difference. So, folks, go to your phone and call right now. We all have things that are important to us. This is a big one.
This is a big one. And all of the money stays right here at Children's Hospital, helping you when you never know again when you're going to need their help. That's for sure. And I think, what are we at? 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da!
Right,
thank you so much for calling, everybody. Thank you so much to those that have donated, and your donations help ensure that Seattle Children's will continue their life-saving work for years to come.
Absolutely.
And we couldn't do it without your support, guys,
Not at all.
and the support of our wonderful sponsors.
Seattle Children's Hospital thanks the following sponsors who have helped to make Miracle Makers possible: Co-op Financial Services, Costco Wholesale, Credit Unions for Kids, Dairy Queen, Denali Advanced Integration, and Sinclair Radio Seattle. You're watching the Miracle Makers to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital here on KOMO 4 Seattle.
If you have been watching the show tonight and feel like going the extra mile to support Seattle Children's, consider becoming a Miracle Maker. Just put it on your Visa or MasterCard or American Express or even Discover card, and it will be charged automatically every month. No need to renew, and it's less than $1 a day. It is a great way for you to participate in all of this and have it to be, maybe I give up a couple of lattes and I'm still able to do something spectacular for the hospital. I think so, don't you think so?
Absolutely. Give up a latte or two and look at how far that money can go. Medical research can often involve complicated scientific terminology and methods, but in the case of Cooper Neal, things were different. Research done at Seattle Children's uncovered that simple, yet precise changes in his diet could drastically curb the effects of his Crohn's disease. Sponsored by Spirit Halloween, this is Cooper Neal's story.
Awesome. My stomach used to hurt, it used to hurt daily, and in class it was really hard to study and learn.
As a parent, you're kind of that moment like, oh my God, my kid's chronically sick, what do we do? And where Children's really excelled was Dr. Fall, who was his first physician for GI, said, look, I can put your kid on drugs, but honestly, he'll be on drugs the rest of his life. I wouldn't do that, but that's really what I know how to do, and so I think you should talk to a guy, Dr. Suskin, who's a research doctor here, because he's doing some groundbreaking research around diet and some other things for treating Crohn's. And that's ultimately what we did. And once we started down that path, the care was outstanding.
Yeah, I've been on medication since, it's actually been a year. It's actually pretty much been a year. We got the yogurt, which is made from whole milk, but we cook it for about 22 hours in a yogurt maker to make sure the lactose is out of it. And then we got some cantaloupe, which I love all types of melon pretty much. And then you got protein, which is some cashews.
You can take a condition that in some cases can be life-threatening, and you can turn it around in a few days just by eating a special yogurt, fruits and vegetables, and cutting out fast food. It's pretty amazing.
It's been amazing. It's like a little family group that we've had talking about how to make me better, and like they really care.
Well, do your homework, right? Do your research, but I think you start with Children's Hospital first. And what's so impressive with Children's is there's so many avenues for care besides just that standard path that you can take for things, that there's research doctors here who have kind of innovative ways to treat all sorts of illnesses in kids.
My friends, we will be right back with inspiring stories of the incredible patients and the doctors and the families at Seattle Children's. Stay tuned.
Seattle Children's Hospital thanks the following sponsors who have helped to make Miracle Makers possible: Fred Meyer, Glassy Baby, Great Clips, Seattle Children's Hospital Guild Association, IHOP, Jersey Mike Subs, and the John L. Scott Foundation. You're watching the Miracle Makers to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital here on KOMO 4 Seattle.
This is the girl who fought cancer, who was inspired by the research at Seattle Children's that saved her very own life. And this is the organization her fundraising efforts created, helping kids just like her get back to the things they love. At Seattle Children's, compassionate care, breakthrough research, and generous donors come together to do amazing things. Learn more or donate at seattlechildrens.org. Hope, care, cure. This is the boy from Montana who needed an operation when his heart was the size of a strawberry. And this is the Seattle Children's researcher who created a 3D replica of his tiny heart before the surgery, so the doctors wouldn't miss a beat. At Seattle Children's, clinical expertise, breakthrough research, and generous donors come together to do amazing things. Learn more or donate at seattlechildrens.org. Hope, care, cure.
Justin is going home, and he's leaving cancer behind. A new treatment is producing stunning results by harnessing the power of the body's own immune system. But we need your help in bringing this life-saving treatment to more young people. That's why there's Strong Against Cancer, a team of doctors, nurses, researchers, hospitals, companies, and people like you, captained by Russell Wilson.
With your support, this will be the beginning of the end to childhood cancer.
Well, hi there, everybody, and welcome back to Miracle Makers, KOMO 4's annual spring telethon benefiting Seattle Children's Hospital, where your generous donations help ensure every family receives access to world-class medical treatment, regardless of their ability to pay. Every call, every donation, every charitable event, it all adds up. Steve, I think you're joined by someone contributing in a unique way.
Unique.
Yeah, unique. He's unique. I'm unique. Oh, my goodness. It's good to see you. In case you don't know, this is the one and only Bender from KISS FM. I'm glad you're here, my friends. Good to see you again.
I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. And if you folks that may not know, this man, are you closing in on $1 billion that you've raised or what?
We're getting there.
You're doing such an amazing job, and a lot of folks don't know that, so I want to give you just kind of a little bit, let you get up on the soapbox there, and talk about what you've done at KISS, and let folks know what you've done, because it's really, really remarkable.
I appreciate that.
You know, you pat yourself on the back, we don't mind.
Every year we host our One Big Kiss for Seattle Children's Hospital Radiothon, the radio version of what you guys do here every year, and we've been doing it for 15 years, and we have raised $15 million.
$15 million. That is incredible. Let's give this a hand. Fantastic.
It's
come on now.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I've got the greatest gig in the world, other than you, and it's the one day a year where we do what you guys do here. And when the phones are quiet, just like when we're on the radio, there you go.
There you go.
The timing is
it's
incredible.
Everything.
The timing is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and not only do we do our one day, One Big Kiss for Seattle Children's Hospital Radiothon, but we've come up with another way to raise some money. And in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, it'll be June 15th at the Showbox Soto. We're hosting our One Big concert.
Oh, great.
For One Big Kiss.
Uh-huh.
All the proceeds go to Seattle Children's Hospital. Let's see, we have Lindsey Sterling coming to town. We have Spencer Ludwig. We have Ocean Park Standoff. We're going to do a little Puget Sound Civil War live on stage. Of course, the South won the championship this morning.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's a really cool way to once again help the kids, help the parents, help the families at Seattle Children's.
That is so great, and we appreciate you being here.
Man.
You know, and the other thing is, I have to tell you folks, he and I, we play golf occasionally, and we
it's
like
occasionally because a lot of people get injured when we play.
We're bad golf partners.
We just spray golf
We
balls.
spray them all over the place. So if you see us on the course, run! All right, there you have it. Shannon, over to you.
Hey, you know, I used to be the head caddy at Sahali, so you got to bring me along. I'll help you. Keep it straight down the fairway. Corporate sponsors are so important to the work being done here at Seattle Children's. So we thank Bender, KISS 106.1, and all of the other sponsors who make Miracle Makers possible.
Seattle Children's Hospital thanks the following sponsors who have helped to make Miracle Makers possible. 106.1 KISS FM, Kiwanis, KOMO 4, the Lenny Wilkins Foundation, Log-A-Load for Kids, Love's Travel Stops, the Seattle Mariners, and Marriott. You're watching the Miracle Makers to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital here on KOMO 4 Seattle.
And our next story features a little girl who, along with the help of the craniofacial team at Seattle Children's, overcame a rare condition that rendered her unable to talk, eat, or even breathe. Sponsored by Credit Unions for Kids, here is Lexi Melton.
When I was about 30 weeks pregnant, we found out that there was a problem with Lexi because my body was holding onto a lot of amniotic fluid. To try to figure out what was happening with Lexi, they did an ultrasound, and that's where they were able to notice that her jaw was really small. For Lexi, with her jaw configuration, she was not able to swallow to help keep the amniotic fluid in balance. She was born in a very controlled situation at UW, but Seattle Children's was there, and they took over immediately as soon as she was born.
Lexi was born with a very rare condition. It's called auricular condylar syndrome, so that's the big name. But in basic terms, she was born without a functional or a working lower jaw.
She also had a grade 3 ventricular hemorrhage when she was in the NICU. It was touch and go for a while. So it was the night before Thanksgiving, a week after her birth. She was maxing out life support, and we were basically told that we don't know what's going to happen. We're doing the best we can, but be prepared. That, whether it was specifically related to her condition or not, but just yet another thing that she's had to overcome.
And so at 3 days old, she had the tracheostomy placed, which is a hole in her neck so that she could breathe.
And this is the tracheostomy, the breathing tube for Lexi, so she had to breathe through her neck because her lower jaw was too small. It gives a great way to breathe, but it's not something that you want to leave a child with for a whole bunch of different reasons. There's a chance that the blood vessel around that tube can start to bleed, and that can cause life-threatening bleeding.
To help Lexi have a more secure airway, Dr. Hopper started a reconstructive process. The reconstructive surgery started when she was 3 years old. It took about 6 months. It involved Lexi wearing a whole set of wires and hardware, and we actually turned the hardware every night to help lay down more bone.
And this is her growers. Her mother and father put a screwdriver right here, and they would just learn to twist this, and then they would twist this one, and that would just make her jaw longer and longer and longer.
The trach was taken out when she was 4 years old.
Prior to that, you're carrying around oxygen, you're carrying around the suction machine, all of the equipment that she needed. And the very first thing, camping's huge for the family, and to be able to expose her to that, here she was liberated outside and just having a good time without having that, apparatus stuck in her throat.
Between this last surgery, which is now a few years ago, and today, she's just enjoyed a completely different standard of life without having to worry about all the things the tracheostomy brought to their lives. But she has one other major surgery coming up, and that is to create a joint for her lower jaw.
Which will allow her to be able to chew and eat, and will also improve her speech. With her jaw configuration the way it is, speech is challenging. Lexi loves to talk and share her ideas, and she does so very freely. And so it will be nice to have that extra support to make that even clearer for her.
So she'll have a complex 2 or 3 stage surgery, just like she had with this last surgery. It's going to take a lot of work for the team. It's going to take even more work for Lexi and for her family. That spirit that she brought to the old surgery, which I know is still there, I see it every time I see her, is going to make all the difference. She's going to drive forward, and she's going to get this done. She's a very determined young girl.
Irish dancing and piano and soccer. It's a miracle that she doesn't have to be somewhere else tonight. But nevertheless, here she is, little Lexi and her family live in person. And I have to say, I'm extra excited because I know the Melton family, and I was so excited that they were coming in. Now, tell me a little bit about how much Children's has meant to you. You've been, with Children's over many years at this point.
Yes. Yeah, Lexi would not be alive and doing all of the wonderful things that she has the opportunity to do if Seattle Children's wasn't a part of our life. They definitely have given her life and also giving her opportunity to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say with the Irish dancing. And Lexi, you wanted to show me a little bit of that tonight. Are you brave enough to do it? I know you're a brave girl. Can you show us all at home some of your steps? Here she goes, guys. Here she goes on the stage. Isn't this perfect? And this is all because of Children's Hospital. Lexi, you can keep dancing. And by the way, she has the perfect hair because they have this kind of hair that they do when they have the Irish dancing, and she was just born with it. David, can you tell us why it's so important for people to support Children's Hospital?
It's just an amazing institution. That's why, just because it allows kids to be kids, and just the amazing work that they do, all of the doctors, nurses, all the medical staff. It's a priceless asset that we have in our community, and from really all over the Northwest for kids that need help.
Yeah, that's right, bringing them happiness and joy. And I hear Big Brother Josh wants to say something special tonight.
I wanted to say thanks to Seattle Children's for letting my sister have a life, or giving her a life.
That is absolutely a truer statement never said. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Melton family, for being with us and giving back. Steve, they're always giving back. They've had so much help from Children's, and they come year after year and help us with the telethon. And so we're so glad to have them here tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That is just terrific. So I think it's time to get the phones ringing. We're ready for our next miracle match. For the next 3 minutes, Marriott will match your donations up to $10,000.
10 grand?
10 grand.
3 minutes.
All right, so
okay,
let's go to the phone. Let's go.
I realize we're on a broadcast delay, so we're waiting for the phones.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Oh, of course. All right.
Earlier,
folks.
Steve's like, hey, the phone's not ringing. I'm like, there's a delay. Hold on a second. Here we go.
Yeah. All right. Oh, and by the way, folks at home, we have other phone banks that you don't see. So don't look at this and go, oh, it's all full. I can't get through. You can get through. The numbers are on the bottom of your screen.
There we go.
Have at it. That's right. We've got $10,000 to match from the great folks at Marriott. Just remember, everybody, Seattle Children's provides hope, care, and cures to every child, regardless of the family's ability to pay the bill. Let's get going, everybody.
Phone 16 hasn't been
All
ringing
right.
yet.
Any interesting numbers?
He
Hey,
seems very disappointed. What's your name?
Let's see some
Carson,
numbers
of course,
here.
working for Costco, waiting for
There's $100 there.
See?
$100
That's the
there.
power.
What have you got?
Look at both
You're
phones
waiting for the
ring.
phone to ring? Oh, my goodness. They'll call you. Trust me. All right.
See, this is one of those
Okay,
opportunities
that's a
where
30.
all the phones need to be ringing right now.
There's $100 there. All right. Okay, we're doubling our money here. Thanks to the good folks at Marriott. We appreciate what you do, my friends. So please go to your phone and call right now, 206-443-2468. And by the way, you can also use the toll-free number. Just start it with an 800, all right? Go to your phones, call right now.
Every phone.
Every phone
should be ringing because every dollar is matched.
Somebody called you. Yay. All right, we have about 1 minute left in this. If
You know,
you're
this is
sitting
the
at home
only
thinking-
time that it should be quiet.
Yes.
Because all the phones
because of
are
the buzz.
busy.
Yes, we don't want to hear those ding-a-ling. Oh.
Hey, we got more phones over here.
Just like I said, we have phone banks all over the building. So don't think that we're completely full. We can take your call. Trust me on that. All right, we're going. Let's go. We got about 30 seconds left.
Come on, 30 seconds. Let's do this.
30 seconds left.
The rollover phone bank is
Go.
available.
Go to your phone and call right now. 20 seconds. 20 seconds remaining. All right, here we go. Oh, okay, we're going to count it down. 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, there we go. Terrific. That's really good. So thank you to all of you who donated and called in your pledge tonight. And if you're wondering how you can continue to support Seattle Children's, consider becoming a Miracle Maker. It's on your Visa card and your MasterCard or American Express or Discover card, and you can have it charged automatically each month. No need to renew. It's less than $1 a day. You give up a couple of lattes and you're good to go. It's a terrific way to help Children's Hospital. So go to your phone right now and you can do that program that makes an awful lot of difference for these kids.
A little bit goes a long way, that's for
Sure
sure.
does.
And for many parents, Seattle Children's marks the end of a long search for the right type of care for their child. That was certainly the case for the mother in our next story. Sponsored by John L. Scott Foundation, let's meet Kristen Liberty and her son, Zach.
I'm Kristen, and this is Zach Liberty. Zach is actually an identical twin, and both my sons were born with Pierre-Robin sequence, so cleft palate. They both had trachs. Why we came actually to Seattle is Zach had actually had 6 failed cleft palate repairs. Over in Idaho, we don't have a support group. There's no cleft palate review board or anything. One day I was looking online and I came across a Dr. Hopper's email, and I emailed him and said, would you please see my kid? And he said, oh, there, of course. And he had us over here within 2 weeks. And Zach was able to get his 7th repair, which was successful. And he's decided that he will not go anywhere else. I think the biggest advantage we've had was the coordination of care. And even from here, 300 miles away, they are able to help me maneuver the system over in North Idaho. So they help us find a good speech therapist, they're dentists, and they're coordinating, and even orthodontists. They're coordinating everyone's care for me versus me running to each person and trying to relay the information that the last doctor said, and I don't know their language. I don't know, what's important to them, what's not. No one wants to feel like they're not doing enough for their kid. Sorry, emotional. I feel like here I've got help. I feel like someone's helping me help him.
Uncompensated care. We'll hear those 2 words a lot tonight, but it's more important that we never let the weight of those words become diminished. Illness, disease, cancer, conditions like these can blindside a family. And if it weren't that stressful enough, life does hit the pause button just because someone gets sick.
That's right. You know, our lives are so busy as it is with, children, and I always, equate it to being on a unicycle, going backwards with my hair on fire, juggling knives. You're so busy anyway. That's just regular life. And then one of your children gets sick or, heaven forbid, it's something that you never thought you'd have to hear. And Children's is there. And it's not just for those that don't have insurance. You can have what you think is a great insurance package, and there's still so many added costs. Where do we stay? Where are we going to go? How are we going to get the help we need? And that's what the uncompensated care is so important for at Children's Hospital.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I think you make a very good point, too, about having a certain level of insurance. But it's all of those other things that make you think, oh, my goodness, I thought I was covered.
Right.
But I'm not, to the degree that it costs to do that sort of thing. And that's why it's so important. You put it together with the fact that we have this amazing research facility next to it. It just makes for a great institution, and we have to protect it.
We absolutely do, and we are so lucky and fortunate that we live in such a charitable community and such a benevolent group of people, and we thank you for supporting Children's year after year.
Yes, brought to you by Walmart. This is the uncompensated care program at Children's Hospital.
We were really scared for Reiko.
We were getting ready to put her down for bedtime, and we noticed that she had put something in her mouth, but we didn't know what it was. And so we tried to get her to spit it out, and whatever it was, she swallowed it. Scott called 911, and the paramedics arrived, and they determined that it was a nickel that was in her throat. She was in surgery the next morning at Children's Hospital, and they got the nickel out.
We knew that there would be costs to come with great care, and so we did fill out the financial aid application, and the letter we received back was that our costs would be covered in full, and I had to really reread the letter a couple times to make sure that I was reading correctly.
My team of financial counselors gets letters from families, they get hugs from families, they get phone calls letting them know just what a difference it made to be able to get that letter in the mail. Approximately 60% of our families are really needing some additional form of financial support in addition to whatever insurance they may have.
In the emergency department, we see over 100 kids a day. Kids like Reiko who swallowed a coin, or kids who have a laceration that needs to be sewn up, but also children with much more serious problems. And 20% of the kids that we see every single day need to be admitted to the hospital. They're that sick. People are so generous to Seattle Children's Hospital. People give, and I know that I can just do my job. We can say, your care is taken care of. You just worry about your kid.
When I see a patient in clinic or in the hospital, I don't have to worry about whether they can pay for the care that I might provide to them. The Johnsons are a family who brought their child here before he was born, and he had a problem that needed extensive care and a long hospitalization. We're still taking care of him today.
My husband Kyle and I just passed our 10-year wedding anniversary. We both work, and unfortunately, even with great insurance, the medical costs associated with a special needs child and a diagnosis like Noah's, it's just not enough.
The mission says we will care for all children regardless of their ability to pay. And that is such a powerful central magnet to everything we do. And I think that puts us in a unique place to really be patient-centered.
Money is just off the table. We don't have to think about what can a family afford, how often can they come in for appointments. They obviously want to do what their children need, but they do have a family at home, jobs, finances, childcare, often missing a lot of work or one of them having to leave their job. It just helps them be relieved and not have to spend their emotional energy worrying about finances.
Anytime I meet a new family that's facing a diagnosis like Sienna, when we present them with this diagnosis of cancer, and in particular leukemia, they're not looking at a disease that's going to be treated in weeks or even months. They're looking at a disease that's going to take years.
I feel proud that I live in a community
where so many people have reached out and taken care of these families. The Uncompensated Care Fund is an amazing, amazing thing. And for so many people to donate, it makes you feel proud to be living in this community.
We want to be able to say we can do something rather than say we're sorry. And the fact that we can go in there and make their day, it's great that we have the support to be able to do that.
The Uncompensated Care Fund saved us, so it made me cry. Just with relief that we could focus on her 110%.
And it was just such a blessing for us to realize what kind of hospital Children's is.
And I literally fell to my knees in gratitude. I could not believe this enormous burden was being lifted.
Boy, story after story, just the crown jewel of pediatric care here in Western Washington.
No question at all.
So it's time for another miracle.
All right.
If you haven't called in a donation tonight, there's no better time than right now, because for the next three minutes, every donation will be doubled by Rite Aid up to, look at this,
$25,000.
Let's start the
Let's
clock.
go. Come on.
Let's do it.
All right, now is the time. Go to your phone.
I'd only come after a miracle.
Yes,
All right.
This guy, does he ever sleep?
Phones.
The man has energy.
Waiting for a phone.
Energy to
Wait, no,
burn.
he's the only one on the phone.
He is the human what's it?
Energizer
buddy. Yeah, that thing.
Tick in there. That Bender. We've got 2.5 minutes, guys.
Go for it, everybody.
Hey, I'm going to make a perfect example as to why you want to call during Miracle Match.
What do you got?
Because here's just a perfect example. A donation comes in for $25. Now that person's obviously going to sit there and go, well, you know, my $25 can't go that far.
Yeah.
Now it's $50.
Now it's the 50. You doubled it. You doubled your money.
This is what Miracle Match is all about.
Go to your phone.
That's how we do it. And we talked a lot about how stressful just regular life can be.
Yep.
Children's Hospital, when your child is sick, again, whether it's just bumps and bruises or if it's something much more dire than that, they take care of everything. They make you comfortable. They help with all of that extra stress. And that's what we're calling in for tonight. That's what we're supporting.
And, you know, you can't underestimate or even overestimate, I think, the stress and how it impacts that family. You know, it's not just the illness.
Right.
The family is ill.
Especially, you know, we take it
That's
so for
what
granted
happens.
that it's in our backyard, but if you're a family that's traveling from Spokane, from Boise, from Portland, where are you, you know, and it's something you need to be here for.
Right.
What are you going to do about work back home? You have to leave work. What are you going to do about somewhere to stay?
Right.
What are you going to do about the other children in the family that need to be cared for? All of these costs add up, and Children's is the master of helping families take care of all of this for you.
You know, it's one of those things that I don't think people are aware of, you know, those ancillary things that you're talking about, but they help you with that.
They do. They've got all kinds of programs, all kinds of counseling, all kinds of benefits.
You need.
That's right. And Bender, it looks like he's getting happier over here.
Well, because there was an open phone and it was ringing, so I answered it.
Go ahead,
man.
Somebody got Bender on the phone. Can you imagine?
Johnny's in red. Hey, Johnny, guess what, man? You called at the right time. Steve Poole is here.
Oh, wow. You thought you just got Bender, but you got Steve Poole, too.
There you go.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing well. Okay, you know what to do, right?
I step away and leave Steve on the phone.
All right, I'm going to give you back to the man here. I appreciate you calling. Okay, bye.
There it is. Okay.
And we've got about 20 seconds
Johnny,
left.
hang on, don't go anywhere.
Steve,
a nice conversation. I'm sorry to leave you.
There we go.
Talk to Steve and Bender and to our wonderful volunteers that are taking all of these calls tonight. This is the biggest miracle match of the night so far.
Yeah,
up to $25,000.
We're down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
That's
now,
amazing.
as you might imagine, you folks that have been watching, and maybe you just came in on the end of the miracle match, and you're thinking, oh, I missed it. You didn't miss it.
No, we've got some night left to go, that's for sure.
We got miracle matches like Doritos.
That's right. They
We'll
just
make
keep
more.
on coming, that's right. Bag after bag.
There you go. All right, well, thanks to all of you who called in your pledge. Your contribution is providing the care of children in our community. They're the ones that need it the most.
That's
We're also thankful for the generous support of our sponsors.
Seattle Children's Hospital thanks the following sponsors who have helped to make Miracle Makers possible: Northwest Mazda Dealers, McLean Northwest, Panda Restaurant Group, and QFC. You're watching the Miracle Makers to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital here on KOMO 4 Seattle.
Bye-bye. Part of Seattle Children's mission is to help every child live the most fulfilling life possible. But for some patients, a fulfilling life doesn't end with good health in addition to medical care. Our next story is about a clinic that improves patients' lives through community outreach and school-based services, focusing on emotional development, social skills, and communications. Sponsored by Ace Hardware, this is the Odessa Brown Children's Clinic story.
In the 1960s in the US and in Seattle, if you were African American, and especially if you were African American and low income, your kids did not have the same access to health care. And so the idea of the Odessa Brown Children's Clinic was born out of this concept that we need to make sure that every child has access to the best quality care possible. That they had what our first medical director called quality care with dignity.
Being able to give excellent medical care is what Seattle Children's and Odessa Brown is all about. But we also provide excellent outreach care. We provide back-to-school supplies, coats, and any other needs that families might need.
It makes me so proud to be a Seattle Children's Clinic. In fact, we're the only primary care program that Seattle Children's hosts.
One of the main reasons we go to Odessa Brown is because 2 of the 3 of my children have sickle cell anemia.
Sickle cell is a blood disease, inherited genetic blood disease, that really is about managing pain crisis. Odessa Brown is the only place that we can go to that has specific care for sickle cell disease.
A big part of having sickle cell is the very intense pain that you feel. And so being able to talk through breathing practices, how to care for them, their diet, how to watch out for certain triggers has been huge.
To have an organization that supports families where they're at is something that's invaluable to families, especially moms, because, as moms, we fight for our kids and we're there to protect them and to support them.
Oh, that is so wonderful. You ready to go back?
They're good at what they do. It's not just that they're good at what they do in the sense of caring for our kids, they also are good at what they do in the sense of just being personable. We really truly feel like I can walk in there and say hi to anyone who is on staff and they relate to us.
A sense that I'm known there and that we're valuable people. And I see that not just with our children, but with other families that we've come to know that go there.
We're able to assist the families where they're at and, go to where they're at, help them with those what we call concrete needs. So we're able to help them meet those concrete needs so that they can come into the clinic.
It's those non-medical needs that really hit home to families, that parents will forego something so that their children can have it, and a parent shouldn't have to do that.
Families can come and know that they are completely supported. Not just health care, but really whole health.
We have a tag phrase today that says, "We grow wellness," bringing mental health and medical services together, using our nutritionists and our dental services. We also have a lot of special services for kids with chronic diseases like asthma and obesity. About 4 out of 5 of the kids who come here are on Medicaid. 1 out of every 10 kids who are in foster care in King County come to our clinic for some form of health care. Some of those kids face enormous challenges, and we take that responsibility very seriously. We have a philosophy of what we call moving upstream. We don't want to wait for children to get sick.
They're our future. All these young kids that have to come to the clinic and everything, they're tomorrow's citizens, tomorrow's doctors, lawyers, tomorrow's politicians. I'll tell you, when I come to the clinic and I see the smile on kids' faces, when you see that and you see young people are very comfortable being here and getting the kind of care that they need, it kind of makes you proud. I feel like I'm a part of that. Hey, I'm a part of that.
Isn't that great? And that clinic is just remarkable. I know the folks behind it. I know Lenny Wilkins very well and how much money he's put into it. And it's just great to see that getting all of that information out on what they do, because they do it so very well.
And helping so many people.
Well, I tell you what, it's that time again. Your donations make the biggest impact right now, because it's time for another Miracle Match.
Yes, there'd be more.
Here we go. Call the numbers at the bottom of your screen. For the next 3 minutes, your donations will be doubled by Walmart.
Oh, there he is.
I sense a bender.
I sense a bender. That means it's Miracle Match.
Every single dollar gets donated. Why would you not call in right now?
Absolutely.
Every dollar.
Go to the phones right now. We got the numbers at the bottom of your screen. No big deal there. If you're out of the area, you can use the 800 number. We'll take that too.
By one, so I got to man a phone.
And keep in mind,
he's out there.
Keep in mind,
he's manning the phones.
This institution, this hospital, serves not just Seattle, not just Western Washington, not just parts of the Northwest.
Man.
It covers the entire Northwest, and including Alaska. That's how important this regional medical center is. So go to your phones and call right now. It is an asset for about a quarter of the United States.
You know, we take it for granted. It's in our backyard. We've had to go. I've had to go with every one of my kids. So have you. And you run to Children's Hospital. But some people don't get to run. They've got to, book plane tickets, and they've got to get in a car and drive for hundreds of miles. We need to support Children's here right at home.
There's no question about it. And you've heard some of the great stories. There will be more that we'll show you. But I think it's kind of proof positive that it really works. And I think so much about the kids that I've known when, say, 15 years ago, and I see them when they're grown up and they're doing well. They march in and go, "Hey, Steve, I'm a captain in the Marine Corps now." And I'm like, "Oh my God, look at you!"
That little guy that was sick and needed help.
Not that little guy. No, but it is that little guy.
Yeah.
It happens. I'm telling you.
Thanks to Children's, right?
Absolutely. I've seen it in action. Go to your phone and call right now. You can make a difference.
And is this such a good example of what goes around comes around?
Oh, totally.
It's karma. What you put into it, you get. You never know when you are going to need Children's. I bet if you haven't had to go to Children's Hospital, you know somebody who has, and they work wonders. They make miracles happen.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's what you put out in terms of your support of something this important. It does come back to you. I've made the best friends ever when I'm doing this sort of thing. I've raised the most money ever when it's been doing something like this. And it all comes back to you. I get great friends, and it helps the community.
That's right. And those same kids, they grow up, and they're the Marine captains, and they're coming back saying, "Steve, I'm looking down at you," right?
No way. No
way. That's for sure.
Thelma over there taking advantage of the Miracle Match. She donated $25. Becky called it on the other end of the spectrum with a $1,000 donation.
Wow,
and again,
Becky.
everything gets doubled during the Miracle Match.
Right. That's that. If there's one time to call.
Right there. Okay, 10, 9, 8.
There's still time.
7,
call in.
6,
We'll count it.
5, 4.
Sure. Hi.
3,
hang on 1 second. Shannon, they want to talk to you.
1.
Up. Let's go and talk. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys. Who is this?
We will probably have another Miracle Match. Shannon's kind of busy, so I'll tell you. Thank you so much for those of you who have donated so far. Every contribution, it makes a difference for the lives of children in our community. If you feel called, if you feel like calling, please do. Support Seattle Children's Hospital. Consider being a Miracle Maker. This is kind of cool. You can put it on your Visa, your MasterCard, American Express, or Discover card, and it will be charged automatically every month. No need to renew, and it's less than $1 a day. Hey, that's living without a couple of cups of coffee, really, right? So measure what that means to a parent with a sick child. It's very, very important. So let's revisit the Olsen family and get a look at this behind the scenes of their experience with Rennie at Seattle Children's.
My husband Eric and I have 6 children. 5 of our children we adopted. 4 of them have congenital heart disease. Our daughter Rennie was at end-stage heart failure when we adopted her, and she was denied transplant evaluation at a couple other centers due to anatomical complexity and severe malnutrition. Our team at our home hospital had reached out to Seattle Children's, and they accepted her for transplant evaluation and went on to list her. And she underwent her heart transplant on November 13th, 2013. We were here for over 4 months in the cardiac ICU and just had an amazing experience. Fantastic nursing care, fantastic doctors. We were well cared for, we were listened to, we were respected, and consequently, all of our children's care is now in the hands of Seattle Children's, not just for their cardiac needs, but for other specialties as well. We're a 4-hour drive away, but it's absolutely worth it to us to come all the way up here. It's a gift that the hospital's here, and we just feel really fortunate to be able to bring our kids here for care. Rennie's doing beautifully. She's just growing and thriving, and we still sometimes just cannot believe that our daughter survived and that she's doing so well and that she's here with us, and we continue to receive amazing care at this hospital, and we're just extremely grateful.
Such inspirational, amazing stories. Well, throughout the years, we've seen so many of these inspiring stories right here on Miracle Makers. Stories about overcoming adversity and beating diseases like cancer and other illnesses against all odds. However, while there are many battles won, there are also battles that are lost. In our next segment, we pay tribute to those who are no longer with us.
We lost our son Eric after an 11-month battle with cancer. Seattle Children's was the perfect place for Eric to be, and the care he received went far beyond his medical needs. We think about Eric and miss him every single day. And we give thanks that he spent his last days in the care of this amazing hospital. The children you'll see in this video touched our lives in a profound way, and we will never forget them. They taught us so much about life, and they inspire us to this day. In honor of other parents and families who have lost a loved one, we offer this musical tribute.
I can remember when you fit in the palm of my hand, felt so good in it, no bigger than a minute. How it amazes me, you're changing with every blink, faster than a flower blooms. They grow up all too soon, so let them be little, 'cause they're only that way for a while. Give them hope, give them praise, give them love every day. Let them cry, let them giggle, let them sleep in the middle. Oh, just let them be little. I've never felt so much in one little tender touch. I live for those kisses, prayers and your wishes. And now that you're teaching me things only a child can see, every night while we're on our knees, all I ask is please. They're only that way for a while. Give them hope, give them praise, give them love every day. Let them cry, let them giggle, let them sleep in the middle. Oh, just let them be little. So time to let them go. So let them be little, 'cause they're only that way for a while. Give them hope, give them praise, give them love every day. Let them cry, let them giggle, let them sleep in the middle. Oh, just let them be little.
In memory of Eric and all the other young lives that we've lost over the years, we ask that you please send in a donation. It truly does make a difference. Sherry and I will never forget what it meant to us. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
Whew.
Getting emotional in here.
Yeah, that was the Tesserick family. And I know them very well, and I know about the loss of their child. And that's one of the things that you never really forget and you never get over. We're doing all we can to do something for this community, and we don't save everybody. And that's the part that's hard. But
yeah. That's what the miracles are all about.
Yeah, I'm sorry to get a little,
because
I know that family so well, and God bless you guys.
That's for sure. And we'll be right back with more stories of triumph and resilience. Miracle Makers continues right after this.
Seattle Children's Hospital thanks the following sponsors who have helped to make Miracle Makers possible: RE/MAX, Rite Aid, Safeway Albertsons, Seattle University Dance Marathon, Spirit Halloween, Sports Radio KJR, and Chalking Rain. You're watching the Miracle Makers to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital here on KOMO 4, Seattle.
Protect your kids from certain cancers and other diseases caused by human papillomavirus, or HPV. Get your girls and boys vaccinated when they are 11 or 12, or as soon as possible if they're already older. The vaccine is given as 2 shots, 6 to 12 months apart, if given between the ages of 9 and 14. Be sure your child gets all doses for the best protection. If you have questions about this or any vaccine, talk with your child's doctor.
Get in the helmet habit. Follow these easy steps to check for a proper fit. Eyes. The helmet should sit level on your child's head and rest low on their forehead, 1 to 2 finger widths above their eyebrows. Ears. The straps need to form a Y under each earlobe. Make sure the straps are even and snug against your child's head. Mouth. When the chin strap is buckled, there should be enough room for you to insert a finger between the buckle and your child's chin. Remember, kids and teens are more likely to wear a helmet if their parents do.
Cyberbullying is bullying using electronic technology. There are multiple ways that your child could experience cyberbullying: as a perpetrator, as a target, or as a bystander. Talk to your child about whether they've had any experiences with cyberbullying. Listen to their stories and help them problem solve. Ongoing bullying puts perpetrators and targets at greater risk for depression and anxiety. The good news is every kid can play a role in stopping bullying. Go to seattlechildrens.org for more information.
Welcome back to Miracle Makers, everybody. KOMO 4's annual Spring Telethon, benefiting the uncompensated care program at Seattle Children's Hospital. Just call the numbers at the bottom of your screen to make a huge difference in the lives of children right here in our community.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And hope is such a central part of the experience patients have at Seattle Children's. So when Erin Cordry wanted to give back to the place that saved her son's life, the Run of Hope was born.
He started getting these headaches, and so he would come home from basketball practice and have this massive headache.
All I could do was really hold my head in between my knees and just wait for the pain to subside.
He ended up having a high-risk medulloblastoma. Eric called me and said, you know, it's a tumor. And it just sort of takes the ground out from under you.
The brain tumor that was lodged between my cerebellum and brainstem. So what was happening actually with those headaches was I was getting spinal fluid and brain fluid trapped in my brain, in my head, because it couldn't, circulate down into the spine.
So we were checked into the hospital. We had a 4-week-old baby. We basically moved into this hospital room. He went into surgery. So, there we were, Max couldn't walk. He was having occupational therapy, speech therapy, all while trying to recover from a major brain surgery. He could hardly move. And now we have to do daily chemo and daily radiation for 6 weeks. And all the while, my little guy who was on the baseball mound 7 days earlier, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Everybody at Seattle Children's brought me in, and you're not a patient to us, you're our family, and we're gonna take care of you like you were our family, and we're gonna make you feel at home and special.
You wanna go where your child is gonna get have the best odds of surviving. And we quickly realized that Seattle Children's was one of the top brain tumor facilities in the country. So we knew that right away, that we had an amazing team of doctors. So we knew that. Secondly, we thought, this investigational study. And we think that saved Max's life. And it came about because people raised money. It didn't come about because the government gave somebody a big check. It came about because other people, maybe they didn't have such good results. Maybe their child didn't survive. And so we always felt like this gratitude, like we don't know who that was that raised that money, but we need to pay that forward. And so right away we knew we wanted to start something that would also raise money to further the research.
Pediatric brain tumors, pediatric cancer research doesn't get a lot of government funding, which kind of breaks my heart. So that's why it's so important to me and so important to my mom and everybody involved that we get that funding for these kids, because they're part of my extended family.
You meet other parents who have had kids with brain tumors, and we decided we'd start a guild. We didn't have a lot of time. Max still had a lot of therapies, and we thought, let's just do this thing called a non-event, where we just send out these invitations and make them funny and tell people they don't have to buy a dress or spend money on a babysitter, but they can just send us a check. In the first 5 years, we raised over $700,000. We were approached by the Four Seasons Hotel. They said, hey, we want to do this fun run for cancer research. So that's how the Run of Hope was created.
The Run of Hope is a blast. And it's fun to see everybody out of that context of the hospital and that context of I'm in treatment. I'm at a place where I'm surrounded by everybody that loves me and everybody that's here to support me. And it's so special to see.
2 months before the race, we didn't have that, we had maybe 40, 50 people, so we're a little scared, but then did a little marketing and reached out to friends and ended up with 1,000 people at the first Run of Hope. In 2009, we raised about $270,000. Now we're in the planning for year 8, and we're proud to say that we passed the $2.4 million in Run of Hopes. And the Guild itself has raised, the Pediatric Brain Tumor Research Guild has raised over $3 million for the brain tumor research here in Seattle. Max taught us what it means to persevere and to be positive, and Max blew us away every single day.
My mindset, I guess, was I just gotta get through this for my mom. I gotta get through this for my friends, and I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep fighting, I'm gonna keep going, and you were there, my friends were there, and it kind of encouraged that mindset that it's just gonna happen. You're just gonna get through this.
Well, Shannon, given what we do around here in Seattle, it always feels good to get a break and tell the people that the sun is on the way, doesn't it?
Especially this year, right?
Yeah, I know, it's been quite a year. I'm like, I don't know, I want to go out in public.
I know, tomatoes coming. We've had some good weekends, that's for sure. And now that the weather is getting nicer, finally, families are spending more time outside. It doesn't get any better than watching the Seattle Mariners, of course, play ball at Safeco Field.
Hi, I'm Rick Riz, announcer for the Seattle Mariners with my furry friend, the Mariner Moose. The Mariners support Seattle Children's Hospital in the style of true champions, from visiting hospitalized patients and giving them VIP experiences right here at the ballpark, to raising money through the Wishing Well campaign. Players and managers lend their full support to Children's. That includes Mariners President Kevin Mather, who serves as chairman of the Seattle Children's Corporate Leadership Council. You can help the Mariners support Seattle Children's by donating your coins at the Wishing Well on the Centerfield Concourse the next time you visit Safeco Field. I speak for all of us at Safeco when I say we enjoy supporting such an amazing place as Seattle Children's Hospital. Right, Moose?
I'll say no place like Safeco Field. Our next story focuses on Seattle Children's efforts to bring independence to a little girl with cerebral palsy. Sponsored by RE/MAX, this is Lauren's story.
Lauren is a very sweet child. She's always full of smiling giggles. She was a year old when she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Lauren specifically struggles are a result of spastic diplegic cerebral palsy, and that just means that both of her legs are affected.
Children that have CP have a combination of two things together that make it difficult for them to walk and stand. So what's happening when you're trying to stand upright is these fetally innervated toned muscles are pulling you, responding to movement with increased tone that you can't control. It's involuntary. And the opposing muscles are not strong enough to give you a balanced position.
Dr. Yando is the type of doctor that every parent dreams of. She's the type of doctor that involves the family in all of the decisions, and she listens to your concerns as a parent. You know, she truly cares about more than just being there for the surgery. She wants to make sure that whatever your decision is as a family and as a medical team, that this is what's going to be best for the child.
When we met, where you would do an evaluation of her tone and her muscle weakness and her range of motion of her joints, and try to decide, is there a muscle that I can lengthen to balance the muscles that are weak against the muscles that are tight.
Our goal through all of that was just, and ever since the beginning, has always been that Lauren become as independent as possible, whatever that meant. As a parent, we could put her in a stroller or keep her in a wheelchair, you know, take those methods, but she was getting older and she saw her peers running and being more independent. She wanted to do that too.
So you look to see, is there a way that I can balance these muscles to try and make it where there's a symmetric pull so she can stand and get better control and then gain strength? Because once you can get upright, then the other muscles can start to strengthen and then you can begin to walk.
Prior to surgery, Lauren couldn't stand. She couldn't walk independently. Her primary mode of movement was crawling or walking on her knees. And so all of the photos, if you actually take a look, you'll see that she's sitting down. You'll never see a photo of Lauren standing. And so after the surgery, she's just made such great progress, and you'll see her standing.
The goal for her was to stand, to be able to stand better, to transfer. In her case, fortunately, as she began to be able to stand, her brain has enough control to begin to reciprocate, to step one foot in front of the other. And instead of just getting the gift of being able to stand, she, with her determination, will, therapy, is now walking.
Seattle Children's has been such a positive experience and a place for us, and that includes Lauren. You know, many children fear hospitals, and Lauren now looks at them as a place that can help her. Our experience of having a truly comprehensive team approach through her journey, and it's evident in the progress that she's made in less than a year of how effective that has been.
Sometimes when you do a surgery and you have an expectation that's here, your expectation is exceeded, and that's why the group around her, her parents, the therapist, the rehabilitation specialist, have made it where she's really gained a lot more than we expected, which is wonderful. It's a nice thing as a surgeon to see that.
Lauren and Dr. Yando, they share a favorite color, and you know, something as simple as Her always wearing pink scrubs has helped calm my daughter. Lauren required casts on her legs after surgery, and so she had put the same type of cast on the doll so that her doll had had surgery with my daughter.
Yeah, we decided that if you have to have cast on, you at least can have a fun cast. And in her case, it was little spirals of color and a bow.
It's just those little details that really mean a lot, and that help ease both the family and the child during, some pretty difficult times.
She is pretty, it's fun to watch her. To see her before and to watch her now is just, it's joyful. That's the best word, because she looks so good and she's made such progress.
She's never been afraid to approach anything, and that means a lot to me. She's got a lot of support through her family and her sister and her friends and her doctors and medical team, and I think that helps greatly. But she's just, she's got big blue eyes, and she's just ready to take on the world.
Oh, what a great story. Hey, it's time for another miracle match. Are you ready for this? It's time to go. Yes, we'll get you to your phone here in just a minute. Thanks to the folks at Remax. For the next 3 minutes, your donations will be doubled up to $25,000. The volunteers are right behind us. They're ready to take your call. Now is the time. I have to tell you, we're not going to be on for the next 4 hours here. So if you're just thinking, I'll do it later. No, do it now.
Do it now.
And this is the best chance for you to double your money. So go to your phones right now. What are you doing?
Well, I figured because Will's back there broadcasting on Facebook as well, I figured I could do it on mine.
Facebook Live too. It's the thing to do nowadays.
We just
this is what it looks like.
Right up in there.
Share with the
Live on
peeps.
Facebook, say hi.
That's very cool.
That's how we know what to say.
That's what
we need a little assistance.
How are you?
That's right. By the way, it would be amazing. I have to keep this up here like this now. It would be amazing if somebody listening, say on Medina, has got some cash to just kind of throw
Say
around.
Medina.
Yeah.
If you wanted to give Remax a heart attack, have them double the full 25 grand.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
That's
now
how you
you're
do it.
talking.
That's how
Now
you
you're
roll.
talking.
Because again, all the money. This is ridiculous. I'm holding this now. Here, you know what?
It's a lot of multitasking.
I'm just going to give that to Shannon.
Okay,
You can just
that's
sit there
it.
and you chat with the people.
Okay, well.
The uncompensated care fund, like you said.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
is the most important thing, because the greatest thing that Children's does and has done since its doors opened 100 years ago is the fact that they don't turn away a kid regardless of what mom and dad can afford.
Exactly. And that's the crux of it. It really is, because what's the first thing in your mind once you get involved in, okay, we got a problem here, it's how am I going to pay for it?
Right.
What am I going to do?
I mean, the only panic that you should really have to worry about as a parent is getting your kid better.
That's right.
The financial obligation should be the last thing. And again, I mean, we all live in the real world. We get just how unbelievably expensive and how important that aspect of it is. But when you're a mom or a dad and your kid gets sick, everything just stops.
It does.
The world and just stops on a dime. And you should be able to focus primarily on getting your kid fixed and be able to go home and we'll deal with the financial stuff later. And that's what the uncompensated care fund is all about.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, I mean, you and I do this all the time, but I know it sounds weird, but go down to the hospital sometime.
Absolutely.
And see what it's like, because it's completely different than any other hospital you've ever seen. The way they staff the rooms, what they do with the paint and all the things, and so many things they have.
Because it's a children's
children's
hospital.
home.
And they make sure that the kids who, let's be honest, and we're going to call a spade here, a lot of these kids don't get to be a kid because they have to grow up faster than they're supposed to. And Seattle Children's allows them to still be a kid.
I'm still doing it. We're still on. We've still got Facebook Live streaming.
My peripheral, I just see this.
Am I getting this right?
We kept it going.
We're double broadcasting.
That's right. That's exactly what we're doing.
We may be triple or quadruple at this point.
Well,
let's learn a little bit about a nonprofit event that has been harnessing the passion of local wine connoisseurs to raise money for a number of beneficiaries, including Seattle Children's Hospital.
The auction of Washington wines is ranked in the top 5 U.S. charity auctions and draws wine and food enthusiasts from around the state and the country. During 3 days of events, guests rub shoulders with our industry's best winemakers while sipping world-class wines and enjoying tastes from award-winning chefs, all to raise funds for Seattle Children's Hospital. Since its inception 30 years ago, the auction has raised more than $37 million for our community. Whether you enjoy the casual vibe of the winemaker picnic or the grandeur of the gala, you can enjoy knowing you are simultaneously supporting Washington State wine while making a difference. Seattle Children salutes Auction of Washington Wines and the Washington State wine industry for their years of support. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to auctionofwashingtonwines.org. Cheers!
There are so many doctors and nurses and assistants and volunteers who make the life-saving work done at Seattle Children's possible. But Seattle Children's is more than just a hospital. While nearly 90% of the Seattle Children's staff work in a hospital setting, the remainder contribute through the roles at the hospital itself and the foundation and the Guild Association. For that, we have all of the money that we need, and well, we could use more, but it helps with all of the things that we're doing in terms of all of our research, and research is the way we're going to get it done. So let's hear from some of the families and patients that have participated in Seattle Children's research studies to learn about their experience, their motivation, the impact it's had on their lives. By Rite Aid, this is Spirit of Participation.
Anything that we can do to kind of help those other kids that are going through the same situation, we're happy to do it.
If we didn't have the drug, we probably wouldn't have her today.
So how do you feel about helping another kid with asthma?
Great. I'm 14 years old, and I'm associated with children's research because I got a concussion.
When we were here for an appointment, they asked us if we'd like to participate in several research studies because they have very few research studies on young women in her age group.
It has the possibility of helping me recover, and also I'm adding to research of a specific age group that not many people have.
One of the big benefits was because she was entered into MRI studies and cognitive testing, we were able to kind of reassure ourselves that she's okay and there wasn't anything else unusual going on.
It's cool to tell my friends that I was in a research study because then they think I'm cool.
If you get invited to participate in a research study, you should definitely do it. It's going to be helpful to you, it's going to be helpful to someone else, and you're going to probably feel really good about it.
In April of this year, Ewan came down with a pretty rare disease called Kawasaki disease. And at the time, we were introduced to different research that Seattle Children's is doing.
Well, at first, when I was asked about the research, I was so worried about his condition that I couldn't think about the research, but now I'm glad we participated. I could ask questions directly to the research associate, and I felt like I had connection after the discharge, and I didn't feel alone.
I will tell him that what he went through was a pretty rare case, and through participation in the research afterwards, we helped other families, and I know he's going to think that's pretty special.
And I'm the mother of a 17-year-old boy with autism, and we have been participating in research since he was 2 years old. Arthur's done all kinds of autism research, everything from looking at genetics to possible interventions. When we go to research appointments, we're met with very kind, understanding, vivacious people who care passionately about their work. And they treat my family and my son with dignity and respect. The number one benefit for our family participating in research has been the deep down knowing that we're providing hope for families in the future, just like the hope that we get from families who participated from research in the past.
We decided to get involved in this research program in hopes of helping other children in the future and learning more about asthma as well for ourselves and Nolan's asthma. We have definitely benefited. I got medical knowledge that I didn't have before, and medical advice that I didn't have before, and a better understanding of what both Nolan and I need to do as a team to keep his asthma under control.
Push, 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 push.
Good job.
I hope they find out a better way to treat asthma.
Our daughter Alexandra has a mitochondrial disease and was diagnosed through Children's Hospital. There were no really answers, there were no other options. And then an opportunity came up for her to participate in a drug study that was a compassionate use drug study.
I think I was just worried about how it was going to affect her. She already has this life that isn't as a normal child. I didn't want any more pain to be brought to her. Finally, we sat down and did pros and cons, and the pros outweighed the cons. Looking back, we're excited, we're glad, because she's a different person today. And I think for her, we don't know how long she's gonna live.
Her diagnosis was not supposed to live past 3.
If we didn't have the drug, we probably wouldn't have her today. So to have this drug and help her so much, we're just very, excited. For us, it's not just helping Alex, which is a huge benefit, but it's helping those other kids down the road. We're probably not going to find a cure in her lifetime, but doing what we do today and participating in research could help kids down the road and could eventually maybe find a cure.
Feels great to have the opportunity to contribute.
If you ever do get asked to participate, definitely do it.
All right. Let's once again thank our corporate sponsors for making the life-changing research done at Seattle Children's possible.
Seattle Children's Hospital thanks the following sponsors who have helped to make Miracle Makers possible: UW Dance Marathon, Walmart and Sam's Club, Washington State Elks Association, White House Black Market, Wizards of the Coast, and Zulily. You're watching the Miracle Makers to benefit Seattle Children's Hospital here on KOMO 4 Seattle.
Well, my friends, we're about to start our last Miracle March of the show. Your contributions are helping miracles happen. So for the next 3 minutes, your contributions will be doubled by our friends at Walmart. This is it. Now's the time. Go to your phone and make that call. The numbers are at the bottom of your screen. You can help make lives better.
That's right.
And nothing feels better than that.
That's for sure. And if you aren't able to call, you can go to our website too. You'll be all hooked up there tonight, KOMOnews.com. Get yourself through and make the donation that way.
Okay, let's get the phones ringing here.
Yes, this is way too quiet, everybody.
Hey, I have a suggestion for next year that the clock doesn't start until all the phones are ringing.
There you go.
That's right.
All of them.
Put the pressure
the clock
on.
starts.
Put the pressure on.
Let's get to the legal department and get that done.
You need to make things up more on the fly like I do on the show. You know what I'm saying? Just make it up.
Okay. Make it up as you go. Okay, here we go. Phones are ringing.
By the
We
way,
need the back row in on
Karen in Everett, who works for Remax over there, she got a $1,000 donation, but I wanted to make sure she got all the credit and everything else.
Where's Karen?
Yeah, Karen's over here in the spillover. In the
spillover
table.
section.
Hi, Karen.
Where's Karen?
Right there. Over here in the dark.
Are you Karen?
In the dark
You're
corner,
Karen.
still
Oh my God,
taking
Karen,
calls.
this is Steve Poole.
How are you? I tell you what,
And
I know it was
Marion
just
called me. Remember that when you put me on the phone?
Thank you.
And she'd been
That's
getting help from
fantastic.
Children's
So
for
where you guys
years
from?
and years since she was a little girl. And decades later, she said that she continues to give back every single year, watches our telethon. She also gave $1,000, and that was not the first time she's done that. So thank you, Marion, for calling in from Seattle tonight.
But she went to Children's.
You can see all the phones here ringing.
And talk to Shannon, absolutely.
Step right up.
Shannon is our host. Here we go. Stand by. Say hi.
Who am I talking
Here we
to?
go. You know what? I got this. I got the TV thing. You can go answer. You can go.
Here we go.
Oh, apparently.
Time to go, folks.
Hey, 50 seconds left, man.
50 seconds. Here we go.
I should really be on TV more often.
You should. You
I
look
really
good.
should.
I like this all
You
stuff.
like the beard?
Well, no, but but that's okay. This is our last match, folks. Go to your phone, call right now. You can double your money. You know the drill. but this is really so important. You know, I mean, we have fun doing this, but I have to tell you, the job that we're doing is very, very important to this community, and it just makes you feel good when you do this. So go to your phone. This is the last opportunity, my friends, to contribute to what we're raising money on tonight. Okay? Okay, here we go. We're going to do the countdown.
10 seconds.
Wow.
9.
Keep calling.
8.
Still time.
7.
Keep it going.
6.
It'll count.
5.
Call.
We'll count
5.
it.
5. No.
5 again.
We got it. We got it.
I think we got it.
We got it. It's time for our last story of the night, presented by Panda Restaurant Group. Let's meet Selah Taylor and her family.
We are from Mississippi, and so we are here for Selah's first surgeries for her craniofacial, and starting with some jaw procedures.
We've been to several places. You know, first we started kind of at home and then went to the coast and tried to go to Florida, you know, just doors closed. There's plenty of places in between here and Mississippi, and they have, I mean, good physicians and good hospitals, but this was a place that had all of our needs and very knowledgeable about her specific syndrome.
When patients come to us for, you might call it a second opinion, where they've gotten care elsewhere, I think that it means a couple of things. One of them is, it isn't that they feel that they've chosen the wrong team. Either it's a condition that is more complicated than the team is used to dealing with, or very commonly, there might be a very inexperienced team, but it's local, and families want to work locally with providers close to their home. Then they don't get the outcome that they expect, or there's concern about the outcome, and then they say, what else is there out there? And they start doing their research.
My friend shared an article about 2 patients that had been here, and so I think I contacted the craniofacial center. I think it was Dr. Cunningham's office or a nurse, someone I left a message for, and from that point, I think I started sharing, you know, where we were, who we were. We'd like to try to meet and get some, you know, maybe get established as patients possibly. This time up, we're here for about a month. I feel willing and eager or hopeful, just because since we've come for our initial visit and then contact after that, and they've made it so easy as far as coordinating appointments.
When I talk to families from other parts of the country, you often hear how much burden there is on them to coordinate the care. And so they have to say, well, I'm going to have an appointment with the neurologist on Tuesday and the craniofacial surgeon on Wednesday, and then I'll wait 2 weeks and then have the ophthalmology appointment. We do all of that for them, and so we put it all into a package for them. And we base the care on the needs of the individual child.
Selah, do you like the doctors here in Seattle? Yeah?
You do?
Do you remember meeting them? Yeah. Thought they were nice? I feel confident in the physicians and the team that we're started working with and moving forward with. I just feel a sense of relief, I guess, and that's just very, very reassuring, and something that we haven't always had or you can't always access. We're thankful to be here.
Well, one more call.
One more.
They keep coming.
Thank you for all of you who have called in a donation tonight. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for Miracle Makers. We call it Miracle Makers because miracles happen every day at Seattle Children's, and your support plays such an important role.
And let's also thank our phone booth volunteers.
Yeah, guys,
Round of
you
applause. That's right. And all of the other people who generously donated their time to make Miracle Makers possible.
Yeah. Children's, all of our generous sponsors, and KOMO 4, thank you. And thank you, folks, for watching.
Have a great weekend.
Good night,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.